Sure, Brother Zubair, what problem did you try to solve?
What? I don't think I had any problems. I was wondering what's. I don't know. Is that question to me, Mr.
Yes.
Mohammed Iqbal?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what problem did you try to solve? Uh, I don't know. I didn't get your question actually. It could be a little more clear.
Okay, so I guess the question that he's trying to ask is like, since you're an entrepreneur and we always believe entrepreneur journey is something where we are able to solve the problem of a people, right?
Okay.
So that is the entrepreneur journey. That's a startup. So when you are talking about like your wedding plan,
One sec. Hold on.
Safina, the speaker
yes,
is coming.
I
think we can,
okay, so
invite.
without wasting more time now, I would like to call upon our speaker of the day, okay, and he's Mr. Jilani, sir. We welcome you and we are all excited to listen and hear from you. Sir, we are not able to hear you. Sir, we are not able to hear you.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jilani bhai. You can go ahead. Jilani bhai, you can go ahead. We are able to see you and your screen as well.
You're able to see me?
Yeah, we are able to see you as well as your screen.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you see me?
Yes, very much. Go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I think wait. And madam was busy giving all the details of MIA and the incubation. I thank MIA for giving me an opportunity to mentor a lot of startups. And the reason why we are looking in is, yes, the pandemic, as usual, has You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, right. Now, because I just got a message from someone that they are not able to hear. Fine. See, MIA wanted to support new entrepreneurs, and we wanted to support budding entrepreneurs, and resources have become very uh, limited, and committing faults and mistakes in the business is a big challenge and a risk. And to de-risk this, we have this webinar series. Now, the webinar series are as here. We are going ahead with ideation and design thinking. The ideation and design thinking, what we are going to introduce is a very basic understanding for a common man. If you take ideation itself, may take a one-day workshop, and if we take design thinking, it may take a PhD to complete. But here, as such, for a common man, what is to be known, we are giving that much of exposure. And why you people may ask why we have had a session so late, because we have a lot of existing entrepreneurs who are just opened up their businesses. They want to go out, work, and come back, and this is a weekend, so they don't mind spending 1 or 2 hours in the night just trying to understand the workshop or the series of sessions what we have. And this is going to be a every Saturday activity, and we are going to have sessions on every week for the next 5 weeks. Now, first is the ideation and design thinking, and then the next session we are going to go ahead is with the tear down of options and solutions. That is, we pick up few live and real time business plans and ideas from the teams, because at the end of this session we will be giving you certain email ID to communicate, and we already have all your email IDs. So we will be looking in what else we can participate and proceed with, and how to get all the new startup business plans or communications. We can go ahead with live and real time case studies as we proceed. And next is business canvas and feasibility, the third session. The third session will be more on trying to understand, before getting into a detailed business plan, how we need to go on the field, on the ground, and try to see how the project or the product or the service or the new business will be feasible or not. Instead of just landing up doing a business and getting into uh, what we can call it as closures or losses or inexperience. So it's better we have a feasibility and then we proceed. And then on the other side, we have a business plan construction completely, which is over 2 sessions, where we get in with each slide and then see how to go about. Once these are done, these are continuous 5 to 6 weeks. And then as we proceed, we have kept you ready, the incubation and the funding, which we will be supporting you as we move forward. The next slide, please. The ideation and design thinking, if we the ideation and design thinking, the series will have from ideation to creation to implementation, incubation, funding, and startups for startups and entrepreneurs. Now, the first session, there are 2 parts for today's discussion. One is the ideation, and then comes the design thinking. Now let's understand ideation when we see. Let's go to the next slide. What are you doing here? We, all of us, you can see on the slide, what are we doing? Next slide, please. Yeah. What are you doing here? Thinking. Every day we have around 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And that's really, really, really surprising. As a normal human being with a limited IQ, we have thoughts moving around, all of us, 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. So imagine 2,500 to 3,000 thoughts per day are per hour when we are looking in, will be a huge, 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 huge content in our minds. Now, decluttering these thoughts and putting these thoughts into a proper structure will be a very, very, very big challenge. Now, what we do is, next slide. When do we get the, usually when do we get an idea? An idea comes in when we are excited, when we are happy. These are the ideas. When we get excited and we are happy, we want to do good things and we want to do good work. But is it really good enough? But the real solutions come out when you are pushed to the wall, when you have limitations, when you're stressed out. The research of inventions in the past say 80% of the solutions are generated when you are under stress. Now when I'm telling that don't get into stress, on the other side, it's like the more stress is nothing but a challenge you have. Now, when you have a challenge, then there's a glow which happens inside. Can we go to the next slide? These ideas run at very, 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 very fast speed. When you're under stress, there's a lot of pressure. You're frustrated. Your body's reaction gets in completely taken back, or you get very, very, very active. And the reaction is to challenge that situation. The reaction of yours is to come out with a solution. And there will be a demand from yourself, from your mind and your body to come out with a physical or emotional solution. So mind is absolutely super active at this point of time. It's like, just imagine you have someone come, a robber outside in the night, in the dark, and you are alert. So that means all of you, you're completely alert and you're ready to pounce on him. The same way, when you have a lot of challenges in life, when you have pressure in life, that is the moment you're completely alert and your mind runs very, 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 very fast. Next slide. Now, every day in every common man's life, there are eureka moments when you have solutions coming in. Now, these eureka moments are like completely from nowhere. From nowhere we get this ideas. From nowhere we get the solution. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm walking and I'm carrying my mobile. I have a challenge carrying my mobile all the time. Is it possible to create some instrument or a component where the mobile is with me and I can feel it? Sometimes we leave the mobile somewhere and come off. It's a challenge. So we get some inclination or some positive thoughts or some eureka moments where we have majority of the times where we forget them. What are the solutions which we have got? Now, there may be a mobile app where it may be probably, if it moves away 4 feet or 3 feet from you, there needs to be a beep, or there needs to be, if you are having a earphone, it needs to communicate to you what is happening, where is the uh, mobile there, is it within the vicinity, or have we lost it? So there are a lot of applications which may come at that point of time. Maybe a hardware application or a software application may come to your thought. And after that, you're in a hurry, you're in a stress, your mobile is not there, and you pick up the mobile and then you keep going off. That moment between where your mobile is lost or you feel it is lost till you get it, maybe a couple of minutes, you have lot of stress getting into your mind, lot of thought getting into your mind, lot of solutions running around. So sadly, majority of the times we don't capture that solution. These solutions will just move off from that point of time. It may be very, 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 very simple. We forget and we are stuck in the same problem or same situation. Again, next time I lose my mobile, again I get into stress. Again, I'll think I need to do this. I have not done it. I pick it up and I move on. So sadly, these moments are not captured. Next slide, please. Now, these moments have to be caught at that point of time. How will you do it? Capturing thoughts is a major, major, major challenge. Fine. These are small little aspects. I carry a small paper in my pocket. So usually the paper is of this size and I put it in my pocket and I have a pen. I get something, I just pull it out, I make a note and I put it back. Now, arresting that eureka moment, arresting that idea is a big challenge in our common running life. Now, if we are able to keep this habit continuing of capturing the thoughts, arresting them on a paper or your mobile, have on a word pad, or you have your own WhatsApp separate personal ID, you just put it on, or you have a voice recorder, you put that on. See, use some tool or method to capture these thoughts. Now, capturing these small thoughts is what gives you completely a new area to develop and get in, new business to start. Now, a lot of us, we have a challenge, fine, no overconfidence. Usually what happens when the thought comes in, we keep seeing that, okay, I know there's a simple solution. I'll go back home and then I'll write down. But that go back home and writing down will not happen. You're so much in this rat race running on a daily basis. Obviously, you will miss that point. So please build on your memory. Don't miss the bus of ideas. Whatever thought process comes in, just record them on any of the media. Let it be an audio or a video or a paper, whatever. Just write down and keep it. Now, these are the ones which help you get into new areas of business. Next slide, please. Usually in organizations, we have limited resources. Now, limited resources means limited options. Then we have decision making, where decision making is a challenge because the resources are limited. You need to operate within that limited resources and give maximum profit. Now, that is a challenge in organization. Fine. Now, even for individual, I have a lot of challenges. I have challenges of money. I have challenges of time, I have challenges of space, I have challenges of people, of infrastructure, someone is not supporting, I don't have a complete team. So we have limited options or solutions with us to address these challenges. Now, what happens is when we have limited resources, limitations everywhere, we need to use those resources and limitations to our optimum level. How do we go about doing it? Yes, that is where we try to experiment. Now, experimenting at an early stage is de-risk. Experimenting and planning 80% and then executing 20% is a big challenge. We don't land up in experimenting, we don't land up in preparing, we don't land up in planning. Instead, we just land up starting a business, and then after 6 months, we are nowhere. Now, that's where we tell, dare to experiment and fail early. Now, it does not mean when you fail, you stop. You move to the next level. Now, to decrease the number of failures, we have something called as design thinking. Design thinking is not a rocket science. Fine, but design thinking today with limited constraints, with limited time to go to the market of any business or startup or a product or a service, design thinking is important. Next slide, please. Now, these are the stage gate development funnel. Fine. We have two gates, gate 1 and gate 2. Or we can call it as a clear funnel strategy. Funnel strategy is like we get 10 ideas. Fine. Then after those 10 ideas, we just filter them out. These 10 ideas, each idea we write down 2 or 3 pages. That's what I keep telling people. We write down 2 or 3 pages. Then if we are not able to write 3 pages of one idea, then we cannot move further in business. The same way, 3 pages of 10 ideas you write down. That is, when you write down, you put a problem, you have a solution for that. What is your approach you are going to do for that? Are there people who are going to buy it? Please put these in place. Just in short, 3 pages each. Now, once these ideas are there, then you move to the next level. You filter most of them which are not feasible or which don't match your skills or which don't match your taste or which don't match your passion. So you need to filter them out. Then come to the second stage. Now, in second stage, take that idea and then go on the field. Now, that's where we tell we need to, when we go on the field, we need to go with design thinking. Think and then get into design thinking. Now, once we get into these stages, then the third and the last stage, we get in preparing a business plan. Now, once the business plan is done, then your entrepreneurship starts. So when you want to start a new business or a startup where you're working as a professional and you want to get into entrepreneurship, you shouldn't be leaving your job and then starting your business. You shouldn't be leaving completely the opportunity cost, what you're working as a professional with 10 years or 15 years experience, and then get into market with some new idea without enough planning. So what we would request is first run through this stage gate development funnel or a conical method. This may take anywhere between 3 months to even 1 year. Build this up. Then you come into getting into an entrepreneurship or getting into real time. Yes, in these structures, we will see everywhere we have limited resources. Now let's see how we can optimize these resources. Next slide, please. Now, I have just put a video now of A.R. Rahman. Most of us know A.R. Rahman is a genius in creating music. Now, he went one step ahead. Now, let's understand how the innovation comes in, how thinking comes in, how new technologies are being used. Fine. You can just see on the screen, there are some news headlines which say how virtual reality pushed A.R. Rahman towards multi-sensory. A.R. Rahman makes music out of thin air. Is it possible to make music out of thin air without instruments? Possible. I want you to see the video in the next slide. Video of A.R. Rahman, please. You have a challenge opening that video?
1 minute, 1 second.
Maz, you have a challenge opening the video.
Yes, I'm facing challenges.
So you come back to the slide, you can handle that later. You at the back end, you do open that video and keep it. Till then we'll run the slide. Right.
Can I go next slides?
Yeah, next slide, please. Okay. Now, think. Now, thinking is a big challenge. People don't have time to think. Now, we need to think differently. When we have constraints, we need to think different. When we have limitations and we don't have what I can call, it's like you get saturated in a business or you get saturated and burnt out in a profession. Now, if that is the case, you need to see how you can look into the new opportunity. Thinking different is important. Thinking a new opportunity is important. And yes, you need to think completely new.
I want to share video
Maz,
to them.
Maz, I want you
She
to
has that
mute
video.
your.
You have that video, right?
Please, Maz,
Enough.
mute your microphone, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, I was unmute.
Yeah, please, right. Sure. So you need to think of opportunities, completely think new. Yes, when we are thinking different, when we are looking into opportunities, when we are completely thinking new, new means completely an innovation. Along with this, we need to think of values also. Now, thinking values is part of design thinking. Now, please go to the next slide. What is so important about think? When you think, new things come out. Have we ever thought about 25 years back selling coffee in outlet? No. Coffee in South India was a morning beverage with the newspaper at home, fresh coffee, just getting that aroma of coffee. That is how coffee was experienced in South India. Now that's where the whole concept of coffee changed. When Cafe Coffee Day started, people were talking about like, who will come to drink coffee? Now, who will look into even spending so much money to come and have coffee when we are getting filter coffee at home? That's how it started. But along with innovation, new thinking, a cafe came out. When Coffee Day came out, it was a cyber cafe along with coffee being sold by the company which was exporting coffee and was having coffee farms, coffee estates. Now, today you can see thousands of cafes which are across. Have you just imagined when we were kids, we used to go, not kids, even when we were youngsters, we used to go to Anand Rao Circle, pay the money to travel to Bombay or Chennai or anywhere to Mysore or for a reservation. We have to go to Anand Rao Circle and get a chit done by paying advance or call up and inform in advance. Now, that is where the red bus came in. It reduced the whole effort of we going across and then standing in a queue and getting our ticket or taking the risk of going to the bus in the night and not getting a berth or a seat. Red bus came in. We didn't have to go and wait on a railway station to get a ticket or to KSRTC bus stand to get a ticket. So it was completely there was a problem, a solution came out. Now, the same thing with Tribo or Oyo, fine. Then we have something called as ID. Can we just even imagine idli dosa, what we were eating, that barter will be sold? The habit of making idli dosa was we used to take that rice, go to the nearest place, get the batter done and come back, or put in a mixie and then make the batter in the night and use it in the morning. Just imagine that whole tedious process. We were not able to, a working housewife or a working professional lady was not in a position to make idli or dosa every day. Now that's where this ID came up with, where we started giving idli dosa batter in packets. People laughed when Mr. Mustafa started this ID. They were telling, are you going to sell idli dosa batter? That's how it is. Today, it's a brand. Along with idli dosa, there are so many other products which have come. There is instant coffee, there are coconut which has come out, there is paratha which has come out. A series of products have come out. Imagine now Ola is there. Past 5-6 years, I haven't been using my car or two-wheeler. The press of a button, we get a vehicle. We get a chauffeur-driven car. The choice is ours. Have we ever even thought about in Bangalore traffic, not getting worried of parking slot availability or not getting worried about driving and getting stressed and going for a meeting in a bad shape? That is how life was. Olas and Ubers have come in. I'm hungry, night 11 o'clock. I can't go out. You have Zomatos. Now, you want to pay something anywhere. You're not carrying your wallet. ATMs have come in. You want medicines instead of going very far. You are in Whitefield. The medical shop is 3 kilometers. The man of the house is not. The lady can just press a button and get the medicines home. Byju's. We used to go with all these bags for tuitions every day evening after school. Or a tuition teacher used to come home because we were naughty, we weren't studying, we were playing all the time. So we had a tuition teacher. Now we have tuition teacher coming through the mobile, through the laptop. You can see the Facebooks, you know what is happening. And you can see WhatsApp. You can see Zoom, the present interaction, what is happening. Imagine a pandemic coming in, technology, internet and bandwidth, then an app comes in as Zoom. And then we have online classes going on, online seminars going on, online sessions going on. The whole world is around Zoom. It's zooming around. Look at the technology which has come out. From where these technologies have come? They're all thinking process. Until and unless we don't think and come out with ideas, we cannot create products. In India, we are all habited for services. We need to get in from services to products and new services. That is the challenge. Now we have every product or service at speed of thought. You think you want this, you get it. You go on Flipkart or Amazon, just press the button, you get the product at home. Maybe from far, I'm getting it from Delhi or I'm getting from abroad, I'm getting it from some remote corner or handicraft, I don't know. At the speed of thought, at fingertips, at the doorstep. Look at the technology which has changed us. Everything has started with an idea and with a thought. So until we don't start thinking and giving importance to think, we will not be able to move ahead in new products or services. Otherwise, we'll be just getting into the same routine businesses. Those are not called startups. You cannot make a brand until and unless you come out with innovation. Next slide, please. Think opportunity. You know, this is a man who has come from very poor background, Jack Ma. When he started Alibaba, people laughed at him. Now look at it, what he said. A great opportunity is often hard to be explained clearly. If the opportunity or the solution you're coming out with, if it is very clear and you can write within few lines and show it to people, then that is not an opportunity. Like every Tom, Dick and Harry can start that business. Fine? Yes. A great opportunity is often hard to be explained clearly. Things that can be explained clearly are often not the best opportunity. Because everyone can understand. When everyone can understand, everyone will come into business. Then that's not a great business. That's not a great opportunity. Me starting one biryani corner is not a great opportunity. Me starting one medical shop is not a great opportunity. Now, an opportunity should come in where there should be major complaints and problems. There should be pain points. Until and unless there are no pain points or complaints, an opportunity does not lie there. If there is pain, there is a solution. If there is pain, there is crocin, paracetamol, whatever. You have fever, there's a problem, you have a complaint, there's a solution. You have problem with pollution, you're getting electric car. So look at the complaints, look at the problem. Now convert those problems and complaints into opportunities. Next slide, please. Think different. When Oracle Corp started, it started as a database company. There was no innovation there. He was just assembling all the data and trying to sort them out, or rather group them out. Fine? Imagine you have all the books which are behind me, huge. What do? You sort them out. You sort them out like physics, geography, electronics, mobile applications, science, music. So you group them out. So that's what Larry Ellison did. He took the data, he started grouping them. And when he was grouping it, people were talking about like, what is this man doing? There's no new technology here. He's taking existing data and trying to create something. He took the existing data, stored it, and he started giving the data as and when required for the decision-making people. There is a finance man, he can get the finance data. There is a HR person, he will get HR data. There is production person, he will get production data. The data was sorted. When the data was sorted, it was very easy to access it. So Oracle Corp became one of the biggest database companies. So that's what he says. When you innovate, you have got to be prepared for everyone telling you are nuts. So it's crazy. But when you're the first person whose beliefs are different from what everyone believes, you're basically saying, I'm right and everyone else is wrong. Because the confidence level of what you are doing is completely different from what the confidence level the person who is not doing the same work. Because your comprehension and understanding is completely different from what he is understanding. What your thought process is happening and what you are executing it, what you are experiencing is completely different from what the outsider is looking at, what the third person is looking at. So you are completely different. When you're different, you're nuts. Now, listen, when you're nuts, you make great money. So think different. That's what Larry Ellison had done it. Next slide, please. Here comes the man, Steve Jobs. We had all feature phones with buttons. Now this man comes out and says, I don't want a button on the mobile phone. Earlier, the first Apple phone which came out had 3 or 4 buttons. He said, no buttons on the phone. Absolutely no buttons. Now, people were thinking, what's going to happen? People don't want the product, but you're creating a product. People don't have that product. There is nothing in demand, but you want to create it. You're going to pay. In fact, Apple Corp had gone almost to bankruptcy. They were almost about to close. Now, he didn't stop it. Fine. That's what he tells. You can't just ask customers what they want and then try to give that to them. Don't ask the customers what they want and then prepare that and give it to them. Then that becomes a service. You want something, you ask for, you get it. So it's like existing. That means it's not a great opportunity. It's not new. But the time you get it built, they will want something new. Obviously, needs and wants change. As the requirements change, the product also changes. So you need to understand, if we are preparing a product or a service which is already wanted or being run You want to enhance it and give, that is not new. They want something new. So create something completely out of the world. For that, you need to think new. When you think new, you can come out with solutions. When you think new, you can come out with innovation. That's where even if Apple Corporation was going down, he was saying the cure for Apple is not cost cutting. The cure for Apple is to innovate. I repeat, the cure for Apple is to innovate. And today, they are number one in innovation. They are advanced. Yes, there are a couple of companies like Samsung and all. They are equally moving ahead with them. But still, the whole base and the foundation is think new. That's what we talk about. Next slide, please. Now, this is our man. Think different, think new, all this is fine. He said, think values. This is what the same thing even the Tata talk about. There's a difference between industrialists and businessmen. Tatas and Wipros and Infosys, these companies are industrialists. They contribute. Businessmen like buy and sell. It's basically trading. Now, that's what Azim Premji says here. In our way of working, we attach a great deal of importance to humility and honesty. With respect for human values, we promise to serve a customer with integrity. With integrity, when he says, what we commit, we deliver. If we commit 1 to 10, we deliver 1 to 10 or 11. If we commit 1 to 10, we don't commit 1 to 7. We don't give them a half shady product, half shoddy product. No. We maintain that integrity. Fine. Then you can look in what Mahatma Gandhi talks about. It is unwise to be too sure of one's wisdom. It is healthy to be reminded that the strongest might weaken and the wisest may err. So you need to be very, very cautious. As you grow, you can get weaker also if you don't have value. So think value. Next slide, please. Now, you have seen new products, new services which are available, new technologies which are available. Just put it on chat. What are your observations? What are your comments? What are the other products and services of the present world which fascinate you? Put them on the chat box. Please do this exercise. Until then, if Mas sir can come up with a video, I'll be thankful.
Safina, I request to play video.
Video of A.R. Rahman, or do you want me to play which video?
A.R. Rahman, A.R. Rahman.
Can you hear the video?
It's not moving.
The video is getting stuck for 4 seconds.
Move further. I think you need to look into this. Let's go to the next, please. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yes. What can we see here? I think this is something which is a very clear industry where we can see from one generation to other generation, things have changed. It took decades and decades and decades to move from the basic telephony to the ring hand telephone, and from hand telephone to the wireless and digital. It took a couple of decades, but from the time the mobility has come in, from the time you can see those Nokia's feature phones, they were the leading ones. From that time till now, the technology has been changing faster and faster and faster. Earlier, it was like 20 years, 30 years. Now it's like every 3 months and 6 months, we have a new phone coming up. You can see the phones moving into foldable, and we already have a phone launched on a beta version, a real phone which can be put on a wrist. Look at the speed of thinking, speed of ideas, speed of technology, where the thoughts are being supported by technology and things are changing faster. This is a very classic example for all of us. This is a very classic example for all of us to keep our thought process dynamic, to keep our thought process completely in sync with technology. The moment if we move out of technology in our thoughts, we are nowhere in the market. That's what happened with Nokia. They didn't accept the change of smartphones. They didn't accept that the customer's requirements were changing. They were not ready to accept the technology and the customer requirements, and that's the reason the competitors like Apple and Samsung moved forward. Now, this is a classic example for us to be dynamic in business. Now, this is one of the examples where we can see that technology changes, business changes, revenue models change. Next, please. Now, till now, we were thinking about how to think about new ideas, how to think differently, how to think new, how to think values. Now, when that new values come in, and along with the opportunities, we need to be more careful, because as of now, we have limited constraints and limited resources and constraints. We don't have money like huge, and the market requirements and the demands are also changing fast. So we cannot take the risk of moving into business without understanding the customer's needs. Fine. Now let's look into design thinking. We have gotten from the idea to the thinking process to the design thinking process. Design thinking process is a completely an old existing area, but because of the constraints, because of the competition, because of the demand of the customers, we have people thinking in a very faster and empathetic way. Now that's where, next slide please. Why design thinking? How many new businesses fail? Are we aware of it? Starting a business or a startup is a lot harder than most of us think. Now let's understand, starting a business is easy. but taking it to the next level is the toughest job. Very rarely business is in tune with its customers. You start a business, but in tune with its customers, no. You're starting business because he is doing well, and I think I can understand there is a huge demand because he is doing well, and I will start. It's like me too. He's also doing, I want to start. Or he's done this, I'll do X plus 1. But that X plus 1 may not be in sync with the customer. It may not be in sync, in tune. So what happens is, we just started like that and we are nowhere. Let's understand, every month we have in India around 3 crore new businesses start every month. This is the data from authentic sources. Fine. 3 crores new businesses start every month. Less than 2 years, 30% of them die. Why they die? Because they're not in sync with the customers. They have started it with limited resources, but without thinking, without doing R&D, without doing research, without understanding the customer. Fine. Now, there are companies or businesses or startups, 30% of them die less than 5 years. 2 years, they build the product. Next 2 years, they launch the product. The 5th year, the market has changed. They don't have funds to move to the next level. Or the market has changed, the product has become obsolete. Now, first 2 years, they would have put in their own money. Next 2 years, there will be funding from outside. By the time they have gone in the market is out. Imagine, you have put in crores of rupees. Within 2 years, 30% die. Within 5 years, another 30% die. 60% are out here. Now, the only 25% stand for 15 years. And even those 15 years, then they die because they have not changed. They have not moved to the next level. They are not in a position to live up to the demands and expectations of the customer. 25% just move off after 15 years. Only 15% of it make it more than 15 years. And 15%, imagine, 15 years, they have come up and they're doing well. And then in that 15%, only 5% make it big. The big ones are the Olas and the Ubers or the Infosys or the Wipros of the world or the Paytm or Big Bazaar or Flipkart. So you need to understand, when you are starting a business, you need to see and plan for the next 15 to 20 years. That is why we suggest and request you to prepare business plans. That is the reason we request you to come out with a completely solid proof business plan, wherein we have a plan of the product, of the service, of the market changes, of the financials, all these parameters for the next 15 to 20 years. Now, where are we doing this? No planning. Business plan. Arey bhai, bahut, yaar, this is what I get the feedback when I give a business plan deck. Arey yaar, too much of data, too much of research to be done. Not possible yet. Okay, go start the business. 3 years, they'll come back and tell, sir, we are not able to sustain. We want to move on. We are closing this. Is there any buyer? Please tell us. This is what these people come up with. Now, what is happening? Just understand. If 2 hours is given to cut a tree, there's an old saying, sharpen your axe for 1.5 hours. when you start putting the tree down, it needs to take 10 to 15 minutes or 20. So it's like 80% planning, 20% execution. Now, this is the reason why we need to get into design thinking. Next slide, please. Design thinking is a human-centered approach. Go back, think values. That's what Gandhiji has told and Azim Premji have told. They've been working with that value. Now, coming out by understanding the human values, that means you are understanding and seeing a human-centered approach to innovation. Whatever you are creating, you are keeping your human being or a customer or a client in front, and then you are designing and thinking how to go about it. Human-centered approach to innovation that integrates the needs of people. If it does not integrate the need of people within 2 years, the business will die. If it does not integrate the needs of the people, you may drag it to 5 years and then you will see that it moves on. You will be nowhere after 5 years. So integrating the needs of your customers, of your clients, of the people is more important. Keeping in mind a human-centered approach to your innovation or new technology. Needs of people with possibilities of technology and requirements for business success. Now, you need to keep the technology changing. You know the customer, you are taking a human-centric approach, but if you are not able to attach technology to it, your business will not be there. The same thing happened with Nokia. They were a fantastic company. Customer services were great. Product quality was great. Technology was great. But the requirements of the market changed. And then the technology also advanced. That's where they were not able to run with the possibilities of technology and requirements. That's why they're not able to reach that level what we have Apple and Samsung doing now. Fine. So design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that integrates the needs of people with possibilities of technology and requirements for business. Now, this is little theoretic. Let me go to the next slide and give you some understanding in a very visual and a common man. Next slide, please. Design thinking focus. Let's understand human-centric, that is customer-centric, and most important is empathy. Now, empathy is the core factor of design thinking. Now, design thinking as such itself has huge area to understand. I'm not getting into detail, but for a common man to understand, for us to get into the market, let's understand the requirement. Human-centric and empathy. Empathy is the core, and that is nothing but design thinking. You are designed to think within empathy. You are understanding the customer's pain point. You can see the logical mind and the emotional mind both are getting together. The brain and the heart, the right and the left brains are coming together. You just cannot create a product without understanding the emotions of the customer. You cannot create, you can't understand only the emotions and cannot give the technology or the deliverables. You need both. You need emotions, you need logic. You need technology, you need human-centric and empathy and user-friendly. And of course, it has to be a profitable revenue model. Now, the importance of empathy I have shown in a picture there, which talks about I'm moving in the rain with an umbrella. When I'm using an umbrella, I know if the umbrella is not there, I get wet. Now I'm passing this umbrella completely to my customer because I can feel what the rain is or what the sun is. And I am exactly understanding his requirements from my requirements. Or rather, the next slide is, it talks about two people. The center picture talks about two people where he is able to understand him completely and he is able to understand him completely. That's empathy. Rather, it is you are in someone else's shoes. You can feel it. To an extent, you and me, that is, you as a service provider or a product provider, you are giving a service or a product to the customer. Both of you together have to become we. Now, this is a tough job because we don't want to do research. We just want to go and launch businesses. We don't want to understand what the market is, what the market requirement is. We just spend money. We initiate, we take big offices. We start off companies. We start companies where someone has an experience. But by the time we start the business, the market would have changed. The business would be obsolete. We will start the business because there is huge demand. There are a lot of people who have started manufacturing sanitizers, who have started manufacturing PPE kits. How many days till the vaccine is in? After that, life becomes normal. Life is not going to be the same. So you need to understand long term. What is that we require? Short term, you can make money. But when we are looking into long term, when we are getting into services, when we have to reach that 10 years, 15 years and above business sustenance, then you have to start thinking with empathy. You need to get into the customer. The customer and you have to become we. Keep this slide in your head when you're starting a new business. Understand every aspect and element of this design thinking process. Usually we start businesses without we understanding the market or the customer. Just because we have money, we start it. No. We have limited money of late. Starting a business is a big thing. It's not easy. Next slide, please. Now, real-time design thinking in practice, we have two ways. One is innovation and value addition. I have a collar. I add a strip here that is value addition. And I'm coming out with a new, completely new designer without a collared shirt. It is completely different. I'm coming out with a product which nowhere it is there, which is giving a solution to someone newly a solution. For example, Ola was an innovation for India. Zomato was innovation for home food delivery. Fine. We had a medical shop giving medicines. We had value addition being delivered at home. The boy earlier used to deliver it to the nearest elderly people. But now there is an app where he will deliver. That's value addition. Local Kirana store that was delivering all the bags to your home. That was value addition which he was giving physically. Now he tells, I have an app, you order it, I will deliver it. That is value addition. You need to get into business with innovation and value addition. If we don't have innovation or value addition, there is no business. For example, online businesses, we have a lot of people starting delivering kirana and products to home. But how many are there? They have mushroomed like mad. If I just go in Whitefield, I have 10 of them delivering. In Electronic City, 20 of them delivering. Overall in Bangalore, if I see around 100 of them giving kirana or products to home. Do you think these will sustain and reach at 15 years? Yes, only few can. When they start empathizing the customer's requirement, think from the customer's point of view, and keep upgrading and changing. Fine. Now, there are food joints, retail, services and mobile apps. Let's understand, just because someone has started a food joint, you don't start a food joint. What is the USP there? What is the design thinking there? What is the empathy there? Who are your customers? What is that you're going to give something new? You need to think from that angle. Retail businesses, yes, they are there. If I'm right, just last week, Reliance bought out Future Group. Big acquisition mergers are happening. Retail, real estate value and the fixed costs are very heavy. The margins are thin. Competition is huge. You need to think. You need to do a proper business plan and the feasibility to move forward. Now, health and beauty products, there are many. Fine. Now, simple example is, these are all products where you are giving some value addition. But you need to think completely disruptive and new. You may come out with new design of product, take help of professionals, get into R&D, completely new, completely innovation. You need patience for that. You need to do a lot of homework. You need to understand your customer very well. You need to go and experience it. I think last month I had spoken to a couple of 10th standard kids, 10th standard and 12th standard kids who were moving towards their next graduation level. Then most of them were talking about, I want to be a chartered accountant, I want to be a IAS officer, I want to be an IPS officer, I want to get into medicine. So my sincere request is, you need to understand your inner passion. Don't listen to what people talk about. Listen to your passion. If you want to be a chartered accountant, go sit in the chartered accountant's office for 2 days. Understand, do you really like it? Or sit there for 1 week. Then you decide whether you want to become a chartered accountant or not. Otherwise, what will happen? You'll complete your CA, then you'll become an entrepreneur, run an IT company, or get into agriculture. See the CA, see the technology, see the agriculture. Absolutely no synergy. You want to be a doctor, you become a doctor, but you will not practice. Instead, you have gone into doing business of your family. So why waste the time and money and life when you are not going to repeat and get the time and money and life? Please understand, you need to go and empathize that profession, whatever you need to. Same way, if you want to start a business, go and empathize. You want to start a retail, go work with retail. You want to start a food joint, go work with food joint. Just because you have a mobile app skill, you just want to prepare a delivery product. No. Mobile app skill is different. Coming up with a delivering product is different. And coming up with kirana delivery, coming up with food delivery, this is different. Technology and app is different than business. Don't mix these. Just because you have one skill, you can't have a full circle there. They're just a pipe. So you need to understand, please go back into whatever businesses we want to start, go on the field and experience it. Even if you work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that is also good. You will understand what is that you want to do, what is that you want to create, what does the customer feel. Until and unless you get a feeling and understand the customer completely 200%, you will not be able to get into new business. There are many methods of design thinking. We are not getting into them. This is the basic which we are talking about. Empathy and human-centric are the basic things of design thinking and starting new businesses when we have constraints and limitations. Next slide, please. This is a regular slide of Stanford Design School, which has given design thinking process. Earlier, we had, when we were starting new product or new business, it used to start from define, ideate, prototype, test, and launch. I repeat, till last decade, we had define a problem or a solution, ideate how to solve that definition. Then from that ideating, create a prototype or test the product or create a proof of concept, then test it in real time, then launch it. So that is how we were doing business. But now the markets have changed. The customers have changed. The customers' demands have changed. The competition or in the market of people who are delivering businesses, giving products, services has increased. There is competition, neck to neck competition, huge competition. In this competitive world, every rupee and every resource is really important. It's like gold. You need to be very clear. Be clear. Rather, time is more precious. To see that the failure percentage decreases, the success rate increases, the match of the product and the customer matches, the service and the requirements of the customer match. They get in sync. From you and me, they become we. Now, that is more important in these times. And especially post-pandemic, design thinking is completely, there's no choice for you other than empathize, human-centric, learn, understand, and then move ahead. So empathizing is a new block which has come in. Earlier, for the new product development or new service development or new business was define a problem, come out with solutions, prototype it, test it, and launch it. But now, no. Before defining a problem, go back to the market, go back to your customers, go back to the area where you want to start with. Understand, empathize, then come with profitability. Then you get into defining a problem to that solution, then get into it. You can see 4 blocks were earlier, design thinking has joined now. Empathizing is design thinking. Next. This is a simple process which I have given. Iterative way of working rather than waterfall project. Right? We used to start, then go ahead. No. Now we need to do small prototyping. We need to repeat in a very small way, test it. Don't risk all your resources at a time. First, understand the needs, get an idea, test that idea. You will deliver that idea. Then once you deliver it, you can understand the need better. That means you have a lot of errors, lot of problems, lot of solutions to be given. You create that product into a next phase of product. That becomes a new idea. Then again test it. Again it will get into the future, into the real time. For example, Paytm company never started to start Paytm. Ola never started to start Ola. They started something else, they landed up something else, somewhere else. So first understand any idea you come up with, test it, take risk immediately. Small risk, no problem. Don't dump in huge money, a bigger risk, more capital investment, big office, then get into it. No. Big investments, big machinery, no. Start prototyping, go in the market, think, getting in design thinking, empathize. Next. I think, can we run through both the videos now?
Sure, sir.
I'm just running.
Okay.
Pretty much every Bollywood blockbuster out there. And we gave him Intel Curie and let his imagination AR Rahman to the stage of CES. Welcome to CES, AR. So can you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to?
I've been working on this model composition backstage. And so I've been using this for the past 1 year. The boys have been very kind to incorporate all my requests. So it's something like this.
Okay, so I'm hearing music. There's no instruments. There's no other musicians. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening here?
So these bands have the Intel Curie technology. And what it does is it kind of senses my gestures and transfers that into MIDI data. And it goes to the computer on one of the softwares and changes that into music.
Got it. So that's, and you've been using this in your concerts for a while now, correct?
Yeah, I did a tour last year all around the US and I used this technology and people seem to be very excited.
Fantastic. Can you show us a little bit more? Perhaps?
Yeah, I would like to invite Kevin to show some more of this. Kevin's here.
So finally, every teenager's dream, an air guitar that actually works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I kind of like pushing the boundaries and see what else is there because this might trigger a new way of composing, a new way of a tune. Because traditional piano kind of gives a kind of feel.
Yes.
But the more you use these kind of things, one day it'll be like I'll be probably without any instrument and having this for a concert.
So I think there's some ways we can get the audience engaged. Do you think we could do that now?
Yeah. After this, we're going to perform again, hopefully. And so I want to teach a few dance moves. I'm not a dancer, but so one is this. And the next one is the bulb. And this, the push. That's it.
So, okay, now you guys are all going to be part of AR's band later on. That's correct, right?
Absolutely.
All right, AR, thank you for showing us this, and we look forward to you later on in the show.
Great. See you then. Bye.
Can you share the other video of Samsung?
Okay, is it visible now?
Yeah, this is visible. Leave it. Yeah, I think, thank you very much for all the tough times you have had to run the video. Now, just a query to all of the friends here. You saw the video. The cameras were available. The screens were available. The trucks were available. The roads were available. What was new? They had a problem of accidents by overtaking. The number of accidents were huge. Just imagine, by using the existing technology in an innovative way, in a completely new thought process, a completely in empathizing the drivers who are trying to overtake or on the road. They fixed the cameras in front of the truck. They connected it to the back doors. They put the screens. Whoever is coming from the back, they can see the front, whether someone is coming or not, and they can overtake. Existing technology, they integrated it, came out with a solution. Now, that is what is required. This is where empathy comes in. This is where how human-centric products and solutions have to come out. This is a classic example of design thinking. This is a classic example of innovation. This is a classic example of integrating all the existing technologies to solve a problem. Fine. Let's move forward. If you have any questions, keep putting it on the chat. I think we have last couple of minutes to close. Now, we have world of opportunities now. I have a saying which I carry. I thank my father for this. Whoever comes to him and asks him, is this profession good? Is this education good? He used to tell, please look at a tree. The creator has created fantastic branches. There are leaves available which are there on the tree, on the branches. No leaf overtakes or overlaps each other. Each leaf has a place to grow. Each leaf has the same energy and resources to be pulled from the roots and spread out to every leaf. So the context is, every opportunity what you see is worth $1 million. It is worth doing business. You need to do it passionately. You need to give value to that. There's an opportunity for every smaller or bigger business, small technology or bigger technology, small solution or a bigger solution. Absolutely, there is an opportunity. Fine. Now, how passionately we work and come out with solutions, that's how we grow. And remember, planning is more important. Next slide, please. Yeah, you can put the whole slide. Who is an innovator or an entrepreneur? He's someone who has the ability to create something out of nothing. When we talk about nothing, nothing is zeros and ones. Nothing is this gray matter. You need to think. The moment you start thinking and putting it down, that's where your innovations and entrepreneurship start. Next slide, please. Now, for an innovator or an entrepreneur, there's no time. 24/7, ideas keep coming. 24/7, just keep a note. We don't know what is worth $1 million. Start putting your ideas on paper. Start putting ideas on your voice, on your record, wherever you want. Next. Never start a project unless all resources are available. Now here, when we are talking about resources, you need to understand, you need to plan. Otherwise you are stuck without a paper. It's on the lighter side, but this is a lesson which we learn. Never start a project until all resources are available, at least on paper. Plan. Next. A little push in the right direction can make a big difference. Such a huge boulder. You don't need 50 people to push that. You just need 2 people with rods to put in the right direction and then push it. A little push in the right direction can make a big difference. Now that's where, to build your momentum, you need someone with experience. You need to have mentors. You need to have seniors to get into business. Next. Nothing happens until first a dream. That's what we call it as vision. Vision starts from here. Until you start dreaming of your startup, of your product, of your service, of your business, of you working and building an organization or a brand or a product, until you don't start dreaming, you cannot reach. Start dreaming. Start visioning it. Next. Let's understand. The rung of the ladder was never meant to rest upon. Have you ever gone on the ladder and stopped? No. When you go to the ladder and touch the ladder, you go up or you come down. You never stop. It was never meant to rest, but only to hold your foot long enough to go to the foot higher. The ladder is meant, every step is meant to keep your foot for some time until you take the next foot to the next level. So you need to keep growing. You need to keep moving. You need to keep thinking. You need to keep going forward. That's what growth is. As human beings, from birth to death, we are growing. We need to give value addition. Don't stop. You have to keep going. There's nothing called as tomorrow. Start the work today and now. Next. Opportunities are huge. Because of the pandemic, a lot of us are under stress and strain or confusion or block. No. It's the same sky, it's the same earth, it's the same oxygen, it's the same world. What the Creator has created. Nothing has changed. You have huge opportunity forward. When one door closes, another opens. A lot of businesses have closed. Not to worry, there are new businesses coming up. Seize the opportunity while the path remains lit. There are opportunities which keep coming to you. Just keep moving. Don't stop. Opportunities are huge. There's absolutely nothing to worry and feel sad. Next. Just think, do you have a passion? Do you have vision? Do you have attitude to think? Do you have attitude to create? Do you have innovations and you want to win? You want to be a winner? Do you have all of this? Just think. Feel that. Do you have the passion? Feel that. Do you have a vision for your startup and business? Start looking into thinking, an attitude of thinking. Start making notes. An attitude to create something new, to innovate and be a winner. Just understand that. Next slide, please. Think now. Do you want to leave a legacy of a brand? Do you want to leave a legacy of a business? Go to the past slide. Yeah. Do you want to live for a cause? Do you want to contribute to the mankind? Just think. Think now. We have been doing so many things every day. Maybe in a different way. But we are requesting you to look into it now. We are requesting you to think passionately. We are requesting you to come up with design thinking. Think with empathy, human-centric, customers' requirements, so that your resources are limited, your time is limited, you can be successful faster than wasting your resources. Think now. If you're thinking, go to the next slide, please. What matters most is how you see yourself. You can be a lion as you move forward. Now you're a small cat. Get motivated enough, think, and then start innovating. Thank you very much. Go to the next slide. I pass my baton to the question answers. Who is handling? Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for the lovely session. And we are really very excited to have more sessions. And I'm sure like most of the participants have enjoyed. And with this, I have received a couple of the questions from the audience. And the first question is, my question is, only innovation is necessary to get into our market, or get a new products in the market, or else can we go on setting up the industry with the same product which are already in the market with a different name that has a huge demand?
There's a difference here. Existing product, there is demand. You're setting up manufacturing unit, getting into business. Good. That means you're doing capital investment. When you're doing capital investment, you need to understand the return of investment within how many years you're going to get it. You need to understand the markets which you're looking at. Is the market so much spread out for you to survive for the next 10 years or 15 years? When you're investing huge, you need to understand how we are going to move forward. Investments in existing products and then catering to the market is less risky than coming out with new and innovative products. For new and innovative products, there needs to be a lot of R&D, there needs to be a lot of design thinking, there needs to be a lot of testing to happen. But already existing product is there. You want to go ahead with manufacturing, it's a clear new business. It's not a new technology. It is not a new startup. It is a new business. So go ahead. If it is profitable, if it is showing feasibility for you, you have enough customers, please go ahead. Nothing wrong in it. Next,
Thank
please.
you, sir. And I hope the question has been answered. In case if you still have any further question related to it, please do post your question. And with this, I would go ahead with the next question. Next question: how do we plan our financials while setting up a startup?
How do we plan our financials while setting up a startup? Fine. I would request, don't start any startup until your business plan is in place. I would request whoever has asked this question to stay with us for the next 5-6 weeks. Go on every week with certain activities, what we are giving. Then there is feasibility to be understood. There is business plan to be understood. Try to understand what are the financials required to do a startup. Without understanding the financials, without understanding from where the money is coming in, don't do the startup. It's a sincere request. Please, again, I repeat, 80% planning, 20% execution. If you have already done a business plan, talk to someone senior, go check who is a mentor for you, go talk to them, get it validated, check the feasibility, go in the market with a small test product or a small proof of concept, test it, and then get into investment. Otherwise, please don't get into it.
All right, I hope the question has been answered. And the next question is, value addition is also an innovation. And okay, so this is basically a point Mr. Hidayat has mentioned. And the question is, the startup is delivering day-to-day basic needs, have lot of a competition because there are many in the market. Does only long-term product innovation sustain in the market?
What is the question?
Yeah, so that's the question. The question, again, I repeat. So what I have received.
Yeah, what is the question?
Yeah, I'm repeating the question. Just
Yeah.
give me a minute. Okay, startup delivering the day-to-day basic needs have lot of a competition because there are many in the market. Does only long-term product innovation sustain in the market? The person wants to understand, is the long-term innovation only sustains, or how is it?
No, it's not necessary. Day-to-day requirements also need to be met. But when you are starting day-to-day requirements in huge competition, You need to come out with what is that value addition you're going to give. What is that different you're going to give? What is that newness you're going to bring to that service on a day-to-day service? There may be, for example, a Kirana shop. The Kirana shop's earlier value addition was he used to give monthly credit. Now, from monthly credit, now we have bigger stores which have come up with, they give EMIs for you on an annual basis. Now, the Kirana shop may get extended to delivering it to you at home. Or the Kirana shop may tell you, okay, right, just in time delivery we will do. You don't have to buy for full 1 month. So you need to go back and understand the same product, Kirana shop, everywhere it is there, but to your customer, what is that need they require so that you can add value and deliver that service or a product. Only then you can be competitive and survive in the market. Otherwise, you will be one in the market. You may, if you have a good customer relationship, you will survive. If you don't have a customer relationship and customer support, you will vanish in the next 5 years. It's not necessary that you need to have only innovative long-term R&D. But yes, for already existing businessmen who are looking into diversification, I would request stay put in the same business, do a lot of R&D, do a lot of design thinking, do a lot of prototyping, do a lot of these activities, and then come out with a product which is foolproof or a service which is foolproof. You need to start spending some money on R&D. Maybe R&D does not mean a product. You have to go in the market, do research, market research, and understand. So understanding your customers' needs is more important for you.
Thank you, sir. I think the question has been answered. And the next question is, Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. My question is, I hope everyone has some or the other idea for their own startup, and some might have started also. Could you please explain on the execution part?
Execution part, most of you must have started. That is great. See, an idea, if I give an idea document to one person in Bangalore, one person in Chennai, one person in Delhi, the same idea, the execution is completely different. It becomes a completely new model. The technology and idea may be same. The technology and idea is only 5%. Execution is 95%. And if you want your execution to be strong, please have your business plan in place. Please do a lot of your homework on your competitors, on your product roadmap, on your next level of R&D, on your customers, on your financials, sources of finances, your HR, people, technology. You need to put your business plan in place. Business plan is like a mirror of a startup or a business. Until you don't put the business plan in place, you cannot be successful in implementing. If you don't have a proper business plan, supporting it is technology, and equally supporting it is people. Usually what happens in startups, the gentleman who has started, he thinks he knows everything. He will do technology, he will do HR, he will do marketing, he will do admin, he will try to do everything, and he'll be there where he is. He will mess it up, he will complicate it, or he will not grow. You need a team in place. Just imagine how for a train we have all, or a car we have all the 4 wheels. Even here for an organization, you need all the people, professionals, or rather all the support. There are a lot of people who will start, they wouldn't have filed income tax for a couple of years. They wouldn't have filed GST for years. They will be nowhere. After 3 or 4 years, they'll get love letters from income tax and other offices. So please understand, when you are doing a startup, you need to do a business plan properly for your execution, and you need a team and technology equally important to execute your business plan. So don't just create a business plan and then land up. Or because you're a technology man, just start a business. Don't do that.
Thank you, sir. The next question is funding part. When should we contact the angel investors or the VCs?
See, funding is an interesting thing. Until and unless there is no sweat and blood, I cannot invest in that company. Until there is no sweat, blood, resources, time of the startup entrepreneurs or the businessmen, we cannot think of investment. People tell, I am a technologist, this is my business plan, please invest. No. First, you put your investment or your time, money from your relatives and friends, go and sell this business plan to your family first. If you're in a position to sell the business plan to your family and friends and attract investment from them, that is the first level of getting investments and feasibility. Or go to your customer, give a solution and ask him to fund that solution or a product. If he has funded it and you're delivering it, that means there's feasibility in your product. Then the funds will come in. Until and unless you have invested your own money, don't expect money from others. And yes, do not go and ask money until and unless you have a proof of concept, or you have a prototype, or you have run that startup for 3 to 6 months. Until you don't have that, don't get into it. No one will invest on you. Only on business plan, there's no investment which is coming. Very clear.
Okay,
Next.
thank you, sir. The next question is generally how the deal happens with the founders and the investors, that is angels and the VCs. What is the percentage that we need to share, and what is the thumb rule, which is the profit sharing and the valuation sharing?
This is a very advanced question. Whoever is asked, I think this will come during the business plan last session.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Fine. We will look into that.
Yes. And the next question is, okay, so it's very interesting and amazing session. Alhamdulillah. I have one question. Is it possible for me to gain a wider range of audience for my business by only using a virtual apps and the technology without reaching? For example, opening up a shop. Is it possible for me to run a successful business only by using a virtual mode?
Can you repeat the question?
All right. So I have a question. Is it possible for me to gain a wider range audience for my business for only using the virtual apps and the technology without using a physical reaching? An example, opening a shop. Is it possible for me to run a successful business only using a virtual mode?
It is possible. But please understand your supply chain. Who is supplying you the product? You need to have them fixed first. Or you need to have a godown. Or you need to have stock of your product. If you're putting it online, then you need to have an inventory of the product. If you don't have an inventory also, you need to have a tie-up with the suppliers and wholesalers. There's a whole lot of supply chain which is involved. There's a whole lot of technology which is involved. There's a lot of professional work which is involved in this. If you're able to do that, definitely you will be able to reach. And then in front, you need to spend a lot of time and efforts for marketing and service. Even though you don't have a physical shop, but you need to deploy people, you need to have social media, You need to have phone calls to reach your customers. Customer acquisition is a costly affair. So if you are looking in, you don't want to have an inventory, you want to run this, customer acquisition will be a challenge and it will be a cost for you. You need to put into it. So your whole value chain and supply chain is important.
Thank you, sir. I believe the question is being answered. And yeah, so the next question is, could you please suggest the working professionals who are highly paid and do not want to take a risk by getting into startup 100% by going partially also not possible?
So they want to go partially, right?
They do not want to go for partially as well.
Then what is that they want to do?
I guess the question what they are asking is like they are highly paid working professionals, and if they are getting into startup 100% by getting into risk and going partially also not possible. So even I would really need the clarity in the question.
Right. I would request like this. Whoever are highly paid professionals, my sincere request is your opportunity cost and value of your man hours is very high. And for a startup, you need to do a lot of mundane jobs.